This is Melody, your East Tennessee real estate resource, and I am literally here. And I wanted to take just a few minutes to, I don't know, tell you a story, talk to you about some things that you may not think of when you're purchasing a property or a home here in East Tennessee. It involves these. Yeah, I want to talk to you today about trees. Stay tuned, you might learn something. And this is the our very backyard. And I've got neighbors around me, and there's a lot of trees. I live in a neighborhood. It's not in a city. It's in a little bit of an area outside of downtown Knoxville, but it is a suburb. And my lot is right at a half an acre. And we're blessed. It is very, very flat. But throughout the years, we have had issues with trees. We had a tornado-like, they never did verify it was a tornado-like storm that came through, oh no, about a year and a half ago, took down our tree. Talk about that more in a moment. Um, but then over the weekend, this happened. So this little building right here is not my house. Thank you, Jesus. This is just an outbuilding. And this is a tree that fell over onto my outbuilding. And you can see the tree is from my neighbor. And so what do you do in a situation like this? Now, I personally have not been in the building yet, been a little busy, but my husband has, and he says there's some damage done to the top of the building. And so um, this is what we're going to get to be dealing with very, very shortly. And so I thought, okay, let's talk about trees, because you've heard me talk about trees before in regards to septics. Okay, you always want to think about how close a tree is to a home. Always, 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 because, oh, sweet friends, there's so many things that can affect that. You think about birds being in trees, so you have a lot of waste sometimes that land on your cars, especially if you park your car outside. I know here in East Tennessee in the early spring, there is oftentimes this sticky type of residue that will be on cars. It feels like sap, and it's hard to deal with on vehicles that are outside. And that's just even if you have even one tree, sometimes you'll get this. But you want to pay attention to the trees in your own yard. You want to see, okay, are they healthy trees or are they dying trees? And I'll be honest with you, one way to do that is to get an arborist to maybe come at least one time every few years or so to let you know if the tree is truly dying. Because a lot of times you can't even tell by the leaves on it. You can't even tell by the bark on it. Sometimes, um, you know, us Joe Blows that just go on our daily life can't tell if a tree is dying or not. So get an arborist there. Have that arborist to look at your trees to let you know if they are dying. If they are dying, cut them down, because I'm going to tell you, otherwise you're going to end up with a situation like I'm dealing with. This tree was dying. We knew it was dying. We had mentioned it to neighbors before that it was dying. We had just a windstorm. It wasn't even a major windstorm, if I'm honest. It was just a breeze that happened a couple of days ago. As a matter of fact, I had gone to show some properties that morning. The tree wasn't down. My son left for work 2 hours later. The tree wasn't down. So between 11 and 12, the tree is down. So it wasn't any major weird weather thing, but because this tree was so dead, it took just a strong gust for it to land on my building. And so we have contacted the neighbor. So a unique situation that I'm not going to talk about here nor now because it's a personal situation. The neighbor cannot deal with this. And so we contacted our insurance agent, and the insurance agent said, well, you can file a claim. But if I'm honest, probably not going to meet your deductible. You're going to have to pay it out of pocket anyway. So you might as well just deal with it. So we're going to have to cut this tree into smaller pieces and use it then for firewood or haul it off somewhere and then get a handyman out here to repair the building. So this is a situation, if I'm completely honest, was completely and totally out of our control. We had advised our neighbors at the time that it was dead and that if we had a strong storm, it was probably going to fall. It did. We were right. The reason we knew is because we had an arborist at our own home, which I'll talk about now. I'm going to go ahead and walk over here. Again, I live in a little area. I've got a nice big tree here. I'm going to show it to you. When we first got the house, this tree, hope you can see it. Maybe not. Yeah, this one right behind me had several big branches on it, had a swing hanging on it that my daughter would hang on. And we had a couple of branches that broke off of it. Oh my goodness, 3 or 4 years ago. And so we had an arborist here then to kind of just go through the yard and let us know, okay, what trees were kind of weak, which ones might we need to tear down or cut down, I should say, and get the stumps ground. And so that was in our own personal yard. Of course, we have no control over what happens with the neighbors' yards around us. But I'm about to stand in another area of my yard where there was a huge, huge tree. You're going to not be able to see it now. It didn't cut it down. The wind blew it down in a tornado-like storm. It wasn't a full-blown tornado, but there was high winds. And it blew down. And when it fell, it actually fell into my yard. So most of it was on my yard. But there was, I don't know, maybe 2 inches, 3 inches that fell onto the neighbor's yard. And so at that time, we were also without power for days because of these major winds. And so we were doing the best we could to survive. So just kind of wanted to make you aware. You got to take trees seriously. They're wonderful. We love them. They're beautiful. They provide shade. There's beautiful color here in the fall when they're, the leaves are changing colors. But you can't take them for granted. You've got to have them checked out every once in a while. You've got to see, okay, are they dying? Are they infested with insects? And I'm not even talking about termites. There's all kinds of diseases here. This one here behind me used to be actually much larger. And when we bought the home, it actually had a play structure attached to it, which you can kind of see there. And when we had the arborist here, we thought we were going to have to get that one torn down. We had seen a lot of insects around it and in it. And he checked it out and he said, no, this one's actually, this one is surviving pretty good. So we left it up. But if the arborist suggests that you want to take it down, please take it down. I know it costs money. Trust me, I know taking trees down costs money. And I know that we want to preserve as many trees as we can. But I also know that if you don't, it can often cause more damage to not only your property, to an outbuilding, to a home, to a car, or anything. If it's near a septic, there can be issues with that. So just inspect those trees, check them out periodically. And if you are looking to purchase a home, here in East Tennessee, give me a call. I'd love to help you. If you're looking to sell, maybe you got too many trees in your yard and you're like, you know what? I'm done. I'm tired of raking these leaves. I'm tired of mulching these leaves, and feel free to give me a call. I'd love to help you. And if you're one of my faithful followers, please comment below, share this video with others. Let me know if you've ever had any tree experiences in your situation, whether you live in East Tennessee or not. And until next time.